Barber, the great Ronde Barber. We decided we could call you the great Ronde Barber on the previous side of our break because you're 16 years in the National Football League. You made the Pro Bowl 5 times or so, a couple of All-Pros. Hall of Fame is right around the corner for you. How has your preseason been? Because I know you've done a bunch of the Bucs games, but how has the preseason been for you?
You know what? First of all, I'll take the great moniker as long as that only means that I'm greater than you.
Why you gotta hate? Why you gotta hate, man?
I'm not hating, just speculating.
You're trying to state a fact. It's not a fact, though. But go ahead.
Preseason has been good. I've spent a lot of time with Tampa, but I got to do Minnesota week 1, a team that I'm very bullish on, which I think I told you guys last time I was on in the off season. I went to their game against Cincinnati, the Bucs game against Cincinnati that Gruden and the crew did on Monday Night Football, which was my very first game, Tiki, where I was in a stadium watching a football game, and I did not have a working capacity.
Nice. Did you enjoy it?
First time I was
Did you enjoy it?
I did. I did enjoy it. I ate too much, had a couple drinks. It was nice. I can't say that I've ever done that before. Then I saw them last week, saw the Bucs last week against the Browns, and they did not look good. So, and conversely, the Browns, who did a lot in the offseason, I think, to help themselves get better, I think showed that, in the AFC North, they might create a little bit of noise. I mean, Josh McCown's a quarterback now who was the quarterback in Tampa, so there was a storyline for us, and he kind of put it on Tampa a little bit. But Mike Pettin and that crew, I think, have something going for him.
Yeah,
in his second year.
Well, we like Mike Pettin because he's a UVA guy, most importantly.
Yeah,
but I mean, it seems like every year is the same. It's like, we did this, we did this, we did this. What have they done that's, in your mind at least, say they're going to start taking steps towards competing in the division?
You're talking about the Browns, right?
Yes.
I'll give you 3 names. One of them was their first draft pick, Danny Shelton. The guy's a monster. And I heard stories, and then I saw him on film, and it's very evident that they hit a home run with that D tackle in the draft. Second, they went on and got Randy Starks, who's 11-year vet, played in Miami, to help that defensive line. I mean, they were very poor in run defense last year. Those 2 guys alone, with some of the guys that they have on the roster now, I think significantly helped that defense. And lastly, they got Jamon Williams, corner out of Green Bay. He's a free agent, right? And Buster Skrine, who left to go to the Jets this year, leaves. He comes in that secondary. I mean, you could rightly put him in the conversation of one of the best in the league. They're not the Legion of Boom because they don't carry a moniker like that, but they were second in the league in interceptions last year. Passer completion percentage, they were number 1 in the league. I mean, they did a lot of good things on defense last year on the back end. I think they shored it up a little bit this year on the front end. So that side of the ball is going to be good. Now, if they get a quarterback that can play well and not create a bunch of turnovers like Josh unfortunately did last year here in Tampa, then they can compete, man. I would be excited about Cleveland.
We're talking
a tough division. Division.
Yeah, of course.
Granted, they have a chance.
Yeah, we're talking to Ronde Barber, obviously my twin, but a Fox Sports color analyst on the road with every weekend with Fox Sports and doing a game still with Chris Myers, correct?
Yes, with Chris.
Yeah.
The uncomparable Chris Myers.
Yes, of course. I'm interested, though, Ronde, when you look at some of these teams with quarterback issues. RG3 is one that we've talked about all day today, and he's already not been named the starter in week 1. It will be Kirk Cousins for Jay Gruden's squad. And then the Bills. I know a couple of years ago we had you, or maybe it was even last year, we were talking about E.J. Manuel and how they didn't expect him to be the starter, and then they get a new regime, so he's got to be on his way out. There's no chance he's going to win. Then he goes and he throws for 170 yards and 2 touchdowns in his first opportunity this year, the 3rd preseason game, no less, to start. What's happening with both of those squads, and who should start in Buffalo?
In Buffalo, God, I have absolutely no idea who should start at quarterback. It is I guess if you're Rex Ryan, it's a good choice because you have Matt Castle, who I don't believe is going to be the starter. I think it's going to come down to E.J. Manuel and Tyrod Taylor, just depending on the type of offense that they want to run. I remember Greg Roman, who's their OC now, but I did a couple of San Fran games. over the past couple of years, working with Colin Kaepernick, you would think that Tyrod Taylor fits his idea of an offense better than what E.J. Manuel did. Now, E.J., two seasons ago, I guess this is his third year now, so 3 seasons ago, he was the first round draft pick, quarterback, and he came in, and I think people fell in love with the guy, who he was as a person over who he was as a player, and he struggled when they shoved him into the starting spotlight there in Buffalo, and it was unfortunate because he really is a good dude. He understands the game, but I felt like he played scared. It was difficult for him to push the ball down the field. It was like he was going through the motions, going through his reads, and he knew he was checking the ball down every single time, and they were just ineffective. And it's not like they didn't have talent around him up there in Buffalo. They bring in Tyrod Taylor. It just gives a different dynamic. And EJ had a great game last week, this last preseason game, but so did Tyrod. And with the game that Tyrod had the week before on Monday night, or it may have been Thursday night, whatever game that was, where he played Cleveland, I think has people believing that he could be a viable, starter in the NFL. He was a backup in Baltimore, so he didn't get to see the field that much behind Joe Flacco, but he's exciting, and judging if I'm judging on what Greg Roman wants to do on offense, he fits the mold better than EJ Manuel.
What do you do in Washington with Robert and Kirk Cousins?
I think you do exactly what they did, and you name Kirk Cousins your starting quarterback. And don't get me wrong, I'm not sure where they stand on Robert Griffin III, whether he'll be on that team at the end of the day or not. But I tend to think that a quarterback that has the ability to sit in the pocket, throw the football, and granted, Kirk Cousins makes a lot of mistakes. He makes a ton of mistakes. Throws a lot of interceptions, tries to force balls in areas he has no business throwing them. But as a quarterback, as a pure quarterback, I think he's better than Robert, and that's just my assessment. It's not as if Robert Griffin's a terrible player. He's had his issues, more drama surrounding him than his quarterback play. But I think they've made the right decision for what Jay Gruden wants out of that offense.
Ronde Barber, Fox Sports. I almost said Fox News. Ronde Barber, Fox Sports color analyst, and obviously my twin as well. Last question before I let you go. Who has the better rookie season, Jameis Winston or Marcus Mariota? And then who has the better career?
Oh, man. See, that's a great question. It's almost unanswerable at this point. If you're judging purely on preseason and, who looks better, you almost have to say that Marcus Mariota looks better. But he's protected the football better than Jameis has. Jameis, against Cincinnati, looked like the number one pick in the draft should look. He was efficient. He started off the game on the 80-yard drive, balanced offense, completed a bunch of passes. But then last week against Cleveland, they were 4-3 and out to start the game. He got sacked 4 times in the first half. It's hard for me to ascertain who is going to be better because both teams have holes everywhere. The Bucs did not play well on the offensive line this past game, and it affected Jameis tremendously. He looked like a completely different player. And the same can be said about Tennessee. They protect Marcus Mariota, even though he has the ability to scramble and create plays with his feet, unlike Jameis. And I think he can have a great year as well. But if I were to say who's going to have the better year, I would think that it would be Jameis.
Yeah, but
he fits the mold as a pro passer. He'll deliver balls when he needs to. He'll stand in there and make throws in the pocket, always looking down the field. But as far as a career, I have no idea.
Yeah,
no idea.
For me, it's always been who's the smarter kid, right? Who's the kid who's going to figure out what he does wrong and then play within his limitations. You know what I mean? Whereas, and that's why I've always said Marcus Mariota was the better pick. And I thought he should have went number 1. And obviously there were mitigating factors for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, including the fact that Jameis just played down the road or up the road at Tallahassee. You got to get people in the stadium if you're good or bad or indifferent. It doesn't matter. But I feel like I always want to take the smart guy, right? And that's why I believe that Marcus Mariota is better. But Jameis Winston is playing himself as smart as far as leadership and everything else when it comes to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So if the football catches up, he could have the bigger upside,
Well,
just because he has a higher ceiling.
I think you're discounting Jameis's intelligence, and if you talk to anybody in the building, Dirk Cutter, the entire playbook is there. He manages that offense like a 3 or 4 year vet, like he's seen it all. Like he knows it all. What he hasn't has seen it all. It was one of the big factors, I think, against the Browns, the first time he was seeing a 3-4 defense.
Yeah.
And it completely confused him. Looked that he hadn't seen it and absolutely threw them off in blocking schemes. He's calling protections for the offense. He can get them in and out of plays. So he has that football IQ. It's just a matter of whether or how quickly he can indoctrinate himself into the NFL and the different looks that he's going to see that he certainly didn't see in college. Both guys are good. I mean, we have discussion all the time with my crew. When was the last time a number 1 and a number 2 quarterback came into the league and both were good players?
Yeah,
it's hard to find. It's hard to find examples, but I think this might be a year where both of these guys end up being good players. It's usually your Andrew Luck RG3 scenario, or Peyton Manning,
you gotta
Brian
go.
Leaf, the man.
Yeah, you got to go back to Eli. It's Eli and Phillip Rivers, and also Ben Roethlisberger's in that draft. That was the last time that all the guys were pretty good. Where are you week 1, Ronde?
Week 1, I am in Jacksonville for Carolina. I have Carolina a bunch early in the year, 3 out of the first 4 games, and then I move on to a bunch of NFC North games. So yeah, I'll be around my neck of the woods. Short flights, which I like.
Yeah, good deal. Your kids will like that as well. Ronde, appreciate you joining us as always on Tiki and Tierney. Good luck No, you're not doing anything this weekend. I'll see you this weekend.
No, you won't. What are you talking about?
No, I won't see you this weekend. Maybe I'll see you this weekend.
Maybe
Anyways,
we'll see you this weekend.
appreciate you, brother.
I'll let you.